Hello and welcome back to our channel. It's been a while since I've recorded a video and done a voiceover. So it's been a while since I've even uploaded a video, and the reason why is because we were looking for a house and we were moving and everything that happened. So this is the first house that we saw, which ironically we saw this house last year when it was listed for sale, but apparently someone bought it and started renting it out. The only thing with this house, the cons about this house, is that it's very far away from our current house, and 2 rooms did not even have closets, so it was going to be kind of hard. And there was no pantry, which obviously I didn't even show the kitchen, but yeah, there was no pantry. And the good thing about it was that there was a lot of storage, and there was a huge backyard, and there was a random shower, which was very good for a big household. This is house number 2, obviously, and this house was very much closer to where we were living, and it had a very large garage. The only issues is that it had a very small kitchen, and I believe this is the pantry, which kind of seems weird to be traveling that far from the kitchen to go there, but it was not that much cabinets space. And the other bad thing was that it had stairs. There's some big flies. Heck no, boo boo. Ah, the freaking fly. I don't appreciate it, bug. Oh my god, it's a lizard. Mother! Oh, I got the chills. Oh my god. That's some big flies. The last room. Not the flies again. What's that? Is that the bathroom?
Yes.
So this is the third house we saw. Okay, as you can tell, first thing you notice is that it's a weird layout because you have to go through the kitchen to go to the dining room. So that was a weird thing about the house. Only another thing that, what's it called? That it was kind of weird is that the kitchen was really small. And in the description for the house to be rented out is that there was no pets non-negotiable, which I can tell why once we got there because it smelled like cat urine. Another thing was that the rooms were small, and this house was kind of weird considering that there was 3 rooms, but they cut like the garage in half or whatever to make it into a 4th room. But the 4th room had no windows, and it just felt like weird. The only good thing about that house was that it was close to our house that we were living at. And then for this house, there was a lot of pros with this house. The only issue was that it was very, very far from our house that we were living at, and it had a very small pantry. The many pros about this house is that there was a huge kitchen. There was hardware floors, which is very good because I have many siblings, and my youngest sibling likes to run around with juice or run around with food or whatever, and like what if it spills and we're renting the house and then something happens and then it's like a big no-no. Another thing was that there was a gate in the front, so it could be safer for my siblings to play, but usually they don't even go to the front, they just go to the backyard and play. Another thing that I liked was that there was custom blinds, so you wouldn't have to buy like curtains or whatever, because you just like put the little wooden bar in the middle, that little thing in the middle, and just put it up or down to adjust it whether you want sunlight or no sunlight. So another thing was that the backyard patio, which you'll see a bit later because I'm just rambling on fast, is that the patio has a lot of shade. Oh look, there I am. So here's the backyard that I was talking about not too long ago. See, there's a lot of shade, so if we're barbecuing, the sun wouldn't be hitting you as much. For this house, there was more pros and cons. So the first pro was that it had an open layout, which is easier for if someone's in the kitchen, you can talk to someone that's in the living room or in the dining room. And the other thing was that, as you can tell, was the pantry is very large. Another thing that I liked about this house is that there was skylight. And then it was somewhat close to our current house. Some cons about this house is that the master bedroom was small, but this closet was huge. And then another thing was that I didn't record this, but the laundry room was in the garage, which is kind of leveled on this like a step, I guess you could say. So it would be pretty hard for me and my mom, or like all of us, to even get into the washer to take our clothes out, since we're rather on the short side. And then something that I personally like about this house, which is something that I was like, I love this house for, is that this would have been me and my sister's room. And as you can see, like the window sill is kind of like a place where you could possibly sit. I thought of that as like, oh yeah, I can sit there and read, look out the window. And then like the closet is large, so it can be fit up for both me and my sister. So this is the 6th house, but I'm going to be talking about the previous house still because there's a story with that house. And it's because when we saw the house, we weren't even supposed to be seeing it because the house has 2 owners, and one wanted to rent out the house while the other one wanted to sell the house. And when we contacted the realtor, they said that the house was no longer for rent because they were having complications whether they wanted to rent it or whether they wanted to sell it. And so that was just something that happened while looking at the house. So for this house, there's a lot of, I guess there's like an even amount of pros and cons of this house. So I'm gonna go with one of the cons of here is that the garage is rather small. There was no pantry. And as you can tell that right there off the bat, you can see that there's a step when you enter the house, which is kind of dangerous because you might forget and then you'll randomly just fall face forward. Another thing is that we noticed is that the dirt entered through the back door, and so that would be a lot of cleaning on, especially during windy days. Dirt would get through. And another thing is that the master bedroom is kind of like a weird shape, so it'd be kind of weird to put your furniture, like your dresser and your vanity and all that stuff, and it'll just be like a random, it's like a little circle, like I don't know how to explain it, like a semicircle. Some pros about this house is that it had tile throughout the house, which is very much a pro, especially with younger siblings, and especially sometimes even me because I'm kind of clumsy at times. It had a large living room, a large backyard, which you'll see in a bit, and it had large closets in my opinion. And I like the skylight. So this would have been me and my sister's room. And I also liked it because it was really large. And there was shelving, custom shelves in the closet. And now we're going to the master bedroom, which you'll see the somewhat weird shape of it. I like how there was a fan, but this closet was the biggest that I've seen. There's Emily. So this is where we noticed that the dirt would be going through because apparently there's like a little hole or something, and you can tell. So this is the 7th house, which this has a lot going on here at this house. So some pros with this house is that it was close to our house somewhat. It was close to my brother's school. There was 2 living rooms. So one you could be watching TV, and the other one you could be studying, which is what I had in mind. I was already visualizing what we were gonna do, and I was already excited. There was a very, very large pantry, which you'll see later. And there is a very large garage also. And large closets, as you can tell with this closet. Some cons about this house were that there were stairs, so kind of dangerous, especially because I'm kind of clumsy. So I would kind of worry of getting hurt or falling down the stairs. And then we're going to be going up the stairs. At this time, the owner of the house was telling us that he was repainting the walls, and he was gonna, that right there is new carpet. Like, this whole house is new carpet. Recarpet. This is one of the bedrooms, which also had a large closet, somewhat larger than what I've normally seen. And then for this room was larger than the one that we just saw. Well, longer, but it had no closet. So that was one con. And to be honest, I'm very terrified of heights, so me being upstairs really scared me. And there I am again. That would be the loft, which also had a fan, which is very cool. Emily was obsessed with the houses with stairs, but I was terrified. And then that's the backyard. I forgot to film this, so I was like, oh, forgot this. It's like a half bathroom. And then this is the largest pantry I've ever seen. And then to this house that's right here, this is the last house that we saw. But again, I have a story to tell about the previous house as usual. So with the previous house, so we talked to the house owner, and he was like, I'm gonna send you the application through your email. So then we filled it out, as we're like, we like the house. I didn't like the stairs, but I was like, we like it. And then when we filled it out, we didn't get no response for like a couple days, and we thought it was because, oh, they're probably deciding on what they want to do, accept us or whatever. But I had a bad feeling, so I searched the house on Zillow, and it turned out that the house was put for sale instead of rent. So obviously the house owner changed their mind, and then it was kind of a terrible moment when this happened, because the house owner never informed us that it was gonna be for sale instead of rent. Oh. So for this house, this is the last house and this is the 8th house. So some pros is that it was somewhat close to our house at the time and my brother's school. And it had a very large backyard. The only issues is that that room that we just went through was the master bedroom, and it was rather small, and also the other rooms were small too. The closets were small. The pantry was small. And we're a big family of 8, so we need a lot of pantry space since we eat a lot of food. And then you're gonna see me right here panicking. Oh!
Hi, Mom.
Hi.
You're very tiny.
Mommy, you're too tiny.
Another con was that the stairs were very steep and they were terrifying to walk on. And then this is one of the bathrooms, I think the second one, and it caught me off guard because there's a soap dispenser on the wall. And this is the last room, and here I'm going to be showing you the backyard, which is very large. And then this is the tiny closets I was talking about. Thank you for watching as always, and the next video is going to be an empty house tour. Bye!